Enemies? Lovers? Enemies while being lovers? Lovers while pretending to be enemies? Only the universe knows. This is not a romance where two men meet cutely at a coffee shop. No, 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 one man's job is to erase the other from the mafia world, and yet. This is Journey to You, a show that sounds like a threat, feels like therapy, and ends up being a love story wrapped inside barbed wire. The characters. 1. The assassin, Odajima. A man with trauma so deep, even a therapist would ask for extra sessions. Cold eyes. A wounded heart. Danger wrapped in silence. He says, "I don't deserve love." But everything about him whispers, "Please hold me before I do something reckless." His emotional journey is phenomenal. He moves from dislike, to curiosity, to concern, to confusion, to devotion, and finally to "I can't live without him." All of that in just 6 30-minute episodes, and yet every shift feels organic, steady, and deeply believable. Hiroto's performance is a standout, subtle, controlled, and honestly award-worthy. 2. The sunshine, Kataoka. A man whose smile could power a whole city. Kind-hearted. Idealistic. And somehow, he falls for the very man hired to eliminate him. Kataoka is a walking contradiction, cold, yet gentle. Calculating, yet soft. Untouchable, yet tender. Even with a shorter runtime, his complexity shines through beautifully. This series asks, can damaged people love? Can affection save someone? When does care become obsession? And why do we keep falling for emotionally disastrous men? I have no answer to the last one. Spoiler warning. From this point onward, I'll be discussing major story details, character arcs, and key scenes from JTKY. If you haven't watched the series yet, feel free to pause here, go enjoy the show, and come back for the full breakdown. Now that we've crossed the spoiler line, let's dive into what this series does really well, and then we'll talk about the parts that could have been better. But first, the good stuff. 1. Well-delivered acting and psychological depth. There's this whole layer of dangerous intimacy that makes their dynamic genuinely addictive. Odajima's assignment is simple on paper, he's supposed to eliminate Kataoka. That is literally his job description. And yet somehow, he ends up catching feelings. Classic BL behavior. And honestly? Actor Hiroto absolutely devours this arc. Across just 6 30-minute episodes, he delivers such a smooth emotional progression that nothing ever feels rushed. He starts off with pure, cold hatred, the kind where he genuinely wants Kataoka gone, but slowly, that hatred begins to crack. You see curiosity slipping in. You see him trying to understand the man he was meant to despise. And before he even realizes it, he's falling, deeply, helplessly, inconveniently falling, for Kataoka's quiet kindness. At one point, he even tries to finish his mission, only for that moment to make him fall even harder. This man is an emotional free-fall while pretending he's still in control. By the end, the same assassin who walked in ready to end someone ends up wanting to live with him. Not just survive, but actually build a future together, and Hiroto pulls off every single phase with such sincerity that he basically steals the entire show. There isn't a single beat that feels half-baked or abrupt. It's tight, layered, and honestly one of the cleanest hate-to-love-to-life partner arcs I've seen in a BL in a long time. Odajima's internal conflict, revenge versus affection, is gripping, and every emotional shift feels earned. Kataoka's complexity also shines through, ruthless yet compassionate. These aren't one-note characters, and the actors deserve full credit for that. 2. Chemistry between the leads. The chemistry between Wada Masanari as Kataoka and Hiroto Takahashi as Odajima is incredible. Even when they aren't speaking, their expressions carry the entire scene. Danger plus longing plus tension? That's BL gold. 3. Strong character development. Odajima gets one of the strongest character arcs in recent BL releases, well-paced, clear, and emotionally engaging. Kataoka's arc is good too, but here comes the honest part, with such a short runtime, it's harder to pinpoint the exact moment he falls for Odajima. Was it when they first met? Was it the night they spent together? Was it seeing Odajima's loyalty? Or was it a mix of all three? Maybe that mystery is why fans still debate it, and honestly, that's part of the fun. Tell me in the comments, when do you think Kataoka fell for Odajima? The story leans more heavily into Odajima's point of view, so Kataoka's emotional beats feel implied rather than explicitly explored. But the intention is clear, and the chemistry fills in the gaps. Now that we've covered everything the series does well, let's talk about the parts that didn't quite hit the mark. The negatives. 1. Pacing and short runtime. 6 episodes of 30 minutes each, it's tight. With 2 to 3 more episodes, the story could have breathed a little. And since we're talking about pacing, we have to address the Odajima and Hori friendship arc. The series gives their bond an entire episode, which is actually a good amount of time in a 6-episode run. But when Hori dies, the emotional impact just doesn't land the way it should. You understand the loss. You see what the story is trying to convey. But it doesn't leave a deep emotional mark. It feels more like, oh, he's gone, okay, I guess we're moving forward now. And that's where the pacing issue becomes obvious. Hori is an important part of Odajima's character journey. His death is supposed to hit hard and shape the decisions Odajima makes later. But because the show is rushing toward the finale, the emotional weight doesn't have time to settle in. By the end of the series, you almost forget Hori was ever there. And that should never happen with a character that meaningful. If anything highlights the pacing problems clearly, it's this storyline. The show gives us important moments, but not enough time to truly feel them. 2. The ending. Some reviewers call the finale bittersweet, and honestly, that fits. After 5 episodes of steady build-up, episode 6 suddenly hits fast-forward. We go from hospital to car to hotel, fast-forward emotional resolution and then credits. It's not a bad ending, just abrupt. A little extra time sitting with their new reality would have made the final moments land much harder. 3. Risk versus payoff. Content sensitivities. The show takes big risks, BL set inside a Yakuza world. Assassination mixed with romance. Morally complex characters. Power structures. Some people find this brilliant. Others feel certain choices lean into discomfort without always adding depth. And let's be honest, no matter how lightly we step around it, the power dynamics here are going to bother some people. Because yes, Kataoka is Odajima's superior. And yes, the relationship can feel like an employee-boss dynamic. Their romance stays consensual, but the same absolutely cannot be said about Odajima's situation with JTKY Keito. And honestly, I still don't understand why the script needed that particular storyline. The scene is disturbing, it's gut-wrenching, and it's meant to be. From a performance standpoint, the team executed it convincingly, but narratively, it leans into forced shock value. They could have shown punishment, betrayal, consequence, in 100 different ways. Instead, they chose a path that raises unnecessary moral discomfort, especially when in the very next episode casually shows JTKY Keito lounging around with a group of women, like the writers suddenly remembered, oh, right, he likes girls too. So what was the point? To increase audience hatred for the Keito? Probably. But it ends up feeling like thin writing disguised as depth, and it doesn't fully justify why Odajima needed to be tied to him in that specific context. 4. Performance versus writing, JTKY Keito. Now, to be fair, Yuya Shintaro, who plays JTKY Keito, delivers. His acting is genuinely one of the strongest performances in the show. You can feel the insecurity simmering beneath every expression, the desperation to surpass Kataoka, the fear that he's not truly worthy of the heir position, and the constant pressure eating away at him. He plays a man who is always on the edge, jealous, paranoid, craving validation, and moments away from collapsing under his own ambition. If the writing around his character had matched the quality of his performance, we would have had one of the most layered antagonists in BL this year. So after everything, the highs, the flaws, the beautiful moments, and the rough edges, JTKY ends up being exactly what its title promises: intense, emotional, dangerous. passionate, and somehow, unexpectedly romantic. It's not a perfect series, but it is a memorable one. It gives you characters worth caring about, chemistry that lingers long after the episode ends, and a story that keeps you thinking, even when you disagree with some of its choices. If you're in the mood for a BL with actual emotional depth, beautiful, grounded acting, that danger meets tenderness kind of intimacy, and storytelling that punches you first and hugs you later, then Journey to Kill You is absolutely worth your time. Quick ratings. Acting, 9 out of 10. Chemistry, 9.5 out of 10. Story, 8 out of 10. Pacing, 6 out of 10. Overall rating, 8.5 out of 10. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more BL reviews, explanations, and recommendations, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.